Welcome, students, to our highly anticipated class, going over the Crucible Guard and their rise, fall, and reinvention. As mentioned, we will be going over this group's history in great detail, but today's class, we will be doing our abridged version for those that don't need dates or a high amount of details. That particular course, for the more scholarly of us, will be this Saturday. I appreciate your attendance, and hopefully this piques your interest to see the full display this weekend. Thank you for your understanding, and let's begin. Exile and Reinvention. The clash of steel was the old song of war. The Crucible Guard has composed a new one. But to understand the symphony of acid and fire, you must first understand the silence that preceded it, the silence of a shattered order, exiled and left for dead. This is not one story, but two, the story of their catastrophic fall, and the story of their ruthless alchemical rebirth, the sizzle of acid eating through armor, the roar of pyrophoric ammunition, burning enemies alive, the hiss of gas venting from grenades and rocket shells. These are the sounds that accompany the Crucible Guard in battle. This rising army of alchemist soldiers represents the most scientifically advanced military, to be seen on the battlefields of the Ironkingdoms in the modern age. For centuries, the Crucible Guard has served as the private security force of the Order of the Golden Crucible. Members of the Guard have protected important Crucible facilities and personnel, routinely acted as escorts for Crucible inspectors and tithe collectors, and defended the Order's important shipments abroad. Before Lerin fell to the Khadorans in the recent Leylis War, the Crucible Guard also protected Thunderhead Fortress and other key facilities. The seizure of the Thunderhead Fortress by the Khadorans, however, left the Guard scattered and divided for a time, its future uncertain. All this would change when the Golden Crucible's surviving leadership regrouped in the Ordic city of Midfast, there to rebuild the Order's strength, having endured the horrors of war and the loss of its historical headquarters. The new Crucible Guard would be strengthened as never before, no longer serving as mere escorts and bodyguards, but rather as a powerful and self-sufficient army in its own right, one capable of punishing any enemy it faced. The Order of the Golden Crucible has not rested on its laurels in its new home. It has worked ceaselessly to amass power and influence, spending years in preparation for a counter-strike against the Khadorans who drove them from the Thunderhead. Their plans go beyond this limited objective, however, as their alliance with Ord's sovereign has positioned them to become a significant force in conflicts abroad. In hundreds of laboratories, the Order's ingenious alchemists toil to invent new weapons and manufacture a formidable arsenal. It has invented new battle engines, unlike anything seen before, and has built one of the most advanced modern militaries in the Ironkingdoms. The Crucible Guard is already proving it is far more than it once was, transformed into an army whose alchemically augmented soldiers fight on equal footing with any in the Ironkingdoms. And so, from the ashes of Lerin and the forges of Midfast, a new army was born. No longer guards, but conquerors. No longer protectors, but purveyors of a terrifying new science. But an army is more than its weapons. It is the minds that lead it and the soldiers that fill its ranks. The structure, the hierarchy, the very lifeblood of this new guard. That is a lecture for another day. Until then, continue your research. Also, class, before we dismiss, Please, if you would be so kind, to like, subscribe, and comment for more Warmachine lore. And, as mentioned before, please join us on our Saturday class for a multi-part deep dive into the more detailed history of the Crucible Guard. Thank you for your attendance, and class dismissed.